It's the real-life Frankenstein experiment that tried to bring a murderer back from the dead, but wound up killing a man instead. This is Dark History. London, December 5th, 1802. At 4:30 p.m., a man named George Foster leaves a tavern with his estranged wife and daughter. At 5 p.m., a 9-year-old girl spots the family taking a walk along the Paddington Canal. Later that evening, George Foster is seen at a pub sharing a drink with a friend. His wife and daughter no longer with him. The next morning, John Atkins, a boatman on the Paddington Canal, begins his day's work. But something's not right. He inspects beneath the bow of his boat and discovers the body of George Foster's daughter. Atkins is ordered to sweep the canal. 3 days later, he finds the body of Foster's wife, mere yards from where she had enjoyed lunch with her husband and daughter. Foster is arrested for the murders. Rumors swirl that the trial was fast-tracked through the influence of a Mr. Pass, the right-hand man of Giovanni Aldini, a respected physicist and professor. George Foster is found guilty. He's sentenced to death and dissection. It was customary at the time to cut the bodies of murderers into pieces, making it more difficult for them to rise from the dead with God's chosen on Judgment Day. But the body of George Foster would not be dissected. Instead, it is delivered to Giovanni Aldini, who is sorely in need of a fresh corpse for a rather macabre experiment. Aldini is the nephew of Luigi Galvani, a renowned scientist who had developed a method of stimulating muscles with an electrical current called galvanism. Aldini is eager to use this technique to try to reanimate the dead. On a cold and dark January night, a number of doctors and curiosity seekers gather in an operating theater. Word had spread that Giovanni Aldini would attempt to raise the dead. Aldini begins his experiment by connecting conducting rods to a powerful battery. He then carefully applies the electrified rods to Foster's face. Slowly, the jaw begins to quiver, and the muscles of the face contort into a grotesque grimace. The audience watches with a rising mixture of fear and intrigue, when suddenly Foster's left eye pops open. With a terrified gasp, many in the crowd leave. What happens next is so horrifying that it literally scares a man to death. Aldini uses a conducting rod to probe Foster's body. Suddenly, the corpse clenches its fist and punches the air. Its back arches violently, legs kicking back and forth as if trying to outrun its eternal damnation. The body clanging against the metal operating table mixes with the screams of onlookers to produce a morbid cacophony that echoes throughout the operating theater. Mr. Pass, who secured the body of George Foster, is so disturbed, so shocked, so horrified, he has a heart attack, going to his own grave, believing that he had helped bring someone else back from theirs. Aldini would continue his experiments, touring the globe, becoming world famous, and inspiring Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. He also developed a small battery for the use of experimenting on the dead. That invention would become the basis for our modern-day cell phone battery. So be careful the next time you answer your phone. It could be the dead calling.